A major misconception in the fitness world is that you need to be a top level athlete to be lifting heavy regularly. Over the last few years, I've really been trying to push my own limits in the gym, really test what I'm capable of strength wise. And what's been amazing to find is that you can actually, in my case, achieve some serious results with as little as 3 hours per week in the gym. The very first thing I want to emphasize, if you're really trying to improve top level strength, is technique and form. Now, there's no point trying to lob a ton of weight onto the barbell if your technique is complete dog shit, quite honestly. So what I want you to do, and what I recommend you do, is spend a bit of time refining your technique, refining your form, record yourself doing it, watch it back, make small adjustments, watch other people like top level athletes, how they would move in a deadlift and a squat, and really just refine your process for making sure that your posture is spot on. If you're hitting that deadlift, you're lifting your chest, you're driving with your legs. If you're in the squat, same thing, keeping that posture and your abdominals quite tight so that you can brace and protect your spine correctly, and really hone in on the softer skills of lifting technique before you start ramping up the weights. Now, what we're trying to do here is build that solid foundation so that maybe the first month, every kind of 4 or 5 weeks, that you're really just building that kind of base, so that week 7, 8, 9, 10, you can start scaling the weights gradually. And it's the process we have to go through, because if you just start ramping up, you might get to a point where, okay, you're lifting 100 kilos, 150 kilos. But at a certain point, there will be a chink in that armor if your technique is not spot on. And that's where you either plateau or, even worse, injuries can occur. So spend a good bit of time focusing on that foundation, get your technique sorted, get your form spot on. And I promise you, that will lay a great foundation for you to go like sky high with your lifts. Comparison is the thief of joy. Underline that. I'm going to get this in text underlined. Comparison is a thief of joy. And what I mean by that, if you're someone who goes into the gym and sees the biggest dude, the biggest chick in the gym lifting some serious weight, and you think, oh, I should be able to do that, or like that's my max lift, and they're repping out whatever, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant what other people are doing in the gym. They're working on themselves, they're making improvements. You should be going into the gym and your only competition is yourself. So a little trick I like to do, because I'm quite much of a smaller athlete myself, so for me, comparing myself to someone who's like a foot taller than me and maybe like 10, 15 kilos on me, it's not a comparison. They're going to be able to lift way heavier. They've got the frame, they've got the genetics, whatever it is. Not making excuses, it's kind of fact. But something that really helps me mitigate that comparison element is A, focus internally. How can you improve? What do you need to improve on? But B, a nice little metric that I use is a strength to body weight ratio. And honestly, that kind of fires you up a wee bit. See if you think, wow, man, I can lift 3 times my body weight in a deadlift. Like, that's quite something, actually. Whereas the bigger dude or the bigger chick lifting double what you're lifting, who's maybe heavier or bigger, might only be able to lift 1.7 times their body weight. So technically, you'd be the stronger athlete if it came down to that. So it's a fun little way of just keeping you in your own lane, focusing on yourself, but giving you that confidence and that belief that you've got this kind of standardized metric to really improve your lifts from. And the last thing I actually want to touch on is confidence. Now, it's cool, just me shouting out, be confident. No, that's not going to work. But what I mean by that is when you approach your lifts, and maybe it is quite heavy, be confident in your ability, especially if you're someone who's maybe programmed a 12-week block and you're on your test week, either in week 6 or week 12 or whatever it is, and you're on that final week and you're about to hit your lift and you're not sure what's going on. Be confident. You've put in the work. You've laid that solid foundation in the first 4 or 5 weeks. You've got your technique down. You've gradually increased your weights, and now it's time to combine the two and see what you're made of. So be confident. You have just as much right to be lifting heavy as everybody else. And this is especially true if you're someone who's new to the gym and maybe you're only a few weeks in. You've got every right to be there. So be confident in what you're doing. If you're not so confident, what I would maybe really highlight is go in with a plan. So whether that's you've reached out to a coach, whether that's you've done a bit of research online and you've seen a nice wee simple plan that can just get you kick-started, focusing on some key movements. Have that plan that you can fall back on and then execute with confidence. And that's the big one. And I think especially if you're going to be going in lifting heavy and you're not really sure mentally, that takes like 10% off your efficacy of getting into this lift and how efficient you're going to move it. So the key is really take your time with it, build that solid foundation of form and technique, gradually scale it, and then when it comes time to execute, make sure you're doing it with confidence. And inversely, the stronger you get, the more confident you will become. Something I've found in my own experience of being in the gym quite often is that strength and confidence are intrinsically linked, which is amazing because getting stronger actually makes you a more confident person, which then translates over into pretty much every arena in your life. So everyday athletes should be lifting heavy, and you have absolutely no reason not to. So if you needed this video just to give you a wee kick up the backside and get yourself moving, this is it. Thank you so much for choosing to be here. As always, I hope you found this video super useful. If you did, please give it a like, and I would love for you to subscribe and be part of this growing team, this community of strong, lifting heavy athletes. Have an awesome day, and I'll catch you in the next one.